Hi, Dr. Garima here, and today we'll be solving one of the most important topics of ADC, which is a little confusing for everybody because all of you all have graduated learning different staging and grading of periodontal classification. But in 2020, new classification was released, and so unless you have that in your curriculum, then you have to follow this one because this is the one which is asked in ADC exam, and every exam has at least 4 questions minimum on this classification. So, because there is no particular textbook that will give out a specific exam based scenario on this classification, I have studied this in depth, including that article, and made not 1 or 10 but 70 different questions. If you're going to follow those questions and solve it and memorize this chart, you will never make a mistake on this because this is one of the most scoring questions, as there is only one correct answer for this. It cannot have two correct answers because this is proper numbers that they are asking, their proper stage and proper grade, and you cannot make a mistake on this. If you memorize this chart and solve all the questions that I have given you, definitely you will be able to solve this in the exam. So no other book provides these kind of questions which I have given, and this is in that ultimate ADC companion book that I have made, which has over 1400 scenario based questions from all the textbooks recommended by ADC, that is Australian Dental Council, exclusively dedicated for the ADC exam. Makes that book like a golden book to have, really. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to show you like 4 questions from that book, and we are going to compare it to the chart, which is the standard chart for periodontal staging and grading, and we will be solving these questions and through this chart. So basically this is a chart which you should write daily. That is how you will memorize it, and on the exam day when you go, you will be getting a plain paper. Immediately draw this chart from your memory, and when the question like this comes, just refer to the chart and answer it. That is definitely going to help you a lot while solving the question. Alright, so let's just start, and I'm going to remove myself from the screen because I want to make this chart bigger. Alright, so now that you can see my screen, let's solve the first question. But before solving the first question, let's just first understand what staging and grading is. I'm not going in depth, which we will be doing when we solve the question. But what I do want you to read properly is what staging. Staging intends to classify the severity and extent of the patient's disease based on the measurable amount of the destroyed or damaged tissue as a result of periodontitis, and to assess the specific factors that may attribute to the complexity of the long-term case management. So basically, you're going to classify the patient at a particular stage like 1, 2, 3, 4 based on the amount of destroyed or damaged tissue. So initial stage should be determined using clinical attachment loss. CAL is clinical attachment loss. If that is not available, then only radiographic bone loss should be used. So in your exam, either they'll give you the amount of CAL, that is clinical attachment loss, or they'll tell you how much bone loss has happened. Then only you'll be able to see the stage. You understand? What is grading? Grading aims to indicate the rate of periodontist progression, responsiveness to standard therapy, and potential impact on systemic health. Clinicians should initially assume grade B by default and seek specific evidence to shift to grade A or C. See, whenever a patient is having periodontitis, that means some problem definitely is happening. Okay, so by default you should assume grade B, and then depending on the factors that the patient is presenting, you can shift the patient to grade A or shift the patient to grade C. What this grading will help you to do, it will help you to understand the rate of periodontitis progression, whether it is slow, whether it is fast, whether it is moderate, and whether it will respond to the standard therapy or not, or if it is responding to the standard therapy, how it is responding, and what is its potential impact on the systemic health, that is diabetes or immunocompromised, etc. Understood? So let us just start with question number 1. A patient presents with interdental clinical attachment loss of 3 mm at the worst site, okay, worst site, and radiographic bone loss not exceeding the coronal third of the root. So in this question, they have not only given you the amount of clinical attachment loss, but also given you the amount of bone loss, like not exceeding coronal third of the root. no tooth loss at the moment. What is the periodontal stage? Now let's come here. 3 mm of loss. Okay, where does it fall? Stage 2, correct? Now if you have written that on the piece of paper which is provided to you in the exam, because you have memorized it, you can immediately answer this as stage 2, correct? No confusion, very straightforward question. This would have been a complicated question had you not remembered this. The chart here is clearly giving you the answer. Understood? As simple as that. So all you need to do is memorize this chart and understand the staging principles. It's based on the measurable amount, okay, that is staging. Grading is progression of the disease, responsiveness to therapy and systemic factors. Now, second question. Which grading category applies to a periodontitis case? Now they have said grading. So we are going to go to the grade chart. With smoking history of 15 cigarettes per day and moderate progression. They again have given you a number of 15 cigarettes. Now let's see in which grade we have cigarettes and how many cigarettes. Now in grade 1, so here we have 15 cigarettes and moderate progression. Okay, they have given you 2 filters here. Grade A is low rate and grade A has smoker. No, it is a non-smoker. So this is not a grade A. Grade B is moderate rate. Okay, now grade B has cigarettes, but it's less than 10 cigarettes. So though it is satisfying my filter of moderate rate, it is not satisfying my criteria of less than 10 cigarettes because my question is asking 15 cigarettes. Understood? Grade C is rapid rate. Okay, but it has more than 10 cigarettes per day. So I'm going to go with answer as grade C because smoking more than 10 cigarettes automatically places him in grade C. I do understand here it is moderate progression, but my priority would always be to go with a specific number if it has been clearly mentioned, because eventually it would become a rapid rate, because if the patient keeps on smoking more than 15 cigarettes a day, it is going to go to a rapid rate of progression. Understood? So having had this chart again, it is so immensely helpful in directly answering the question without any confusion. Correct? Let's solve one more question. What differentiates stage 3 from stage 4 periodontitis? Let's go here. Let us just see. Both have more than 5 mm of interdental clinical attachment loss. So that's a similarity. That is not a differentiation. The radiographic bone loss extending to middle third of root and beyond, which is also same. So this is a similarity, again not a difference. Tooth loss. Stage 3 has less than 4 teeth loss and stage 4 has more than 5 teeth loss or equal to 5 teeth loss. Okay, this is a difference. Now let's see the question. What differentiates stage 3 from stage 4? Number of teeth loss? Yes. If it's 5 teeth loss, the patient is in stage 4. If it is 4 teeth loss, it is in stage 3. 6 teeth loss, stage 4. You understand? So 4 or less than 4 teeth is stage 3. 5 or more than 5 teeth loss is stage 4. That is the first basic difference between stage 3 and stage 4, and hence that becomes my answer. There are furthermore other things, but the basic difference is this. Again, you see how this chart directly helped you in answering this question, and these are the kind of questions that would be asked in the exam. People always feel, we should have some perio questions. Well, these are your perio questions. I have made it for you for the exam. I mean, you could not get a better decorated plate for you to consume, And the last question for today. What is the hallmark clinical sign of plaque-induced gingivitis? Hallmark. It's a very, very clearly indicated word. And whenever you want to find out it's related to plaque-induced gingivitis, bleeding on probing is a key indicator. Clinical attachment loss becomes a periodontal case. Okay, it's progressed from gingivitis to periodontitis. If there is no clinical attachment loss, still the case is gingivitis. You understand? So clinical attachment loss is not a hallmark sign of plaque-induced gingivitis. It is a hallmark sign of periodontitis. Understood? Bleeding on probing is our answer. Suppuration is an abscess formation. If it's progressed to suppuration, then it's already a periodontal case. Tooth mobility. Again, tooth mobility means there is a good amount of clinical attachment loss, there is a good amount of bone loss. Clinical attachment loss and bone loss will only happen if it becomes a periodontal case, not a gingival case. Understood? So I hope this was clear, and I'll make myself come back here. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, like I mentioned, I have 70 questions on these, and this is the book, the Ultimate ADC Written Companion book. I heavily recommend it to be, read by all the exam going candidates, because like I mentioned, the ADC resources is a huge list, and I have compiled from that list, which I've mentioned in this index, around 1400 questions, and the remaining 7 subjects which are mentioned in the ADC list, which are therapeutic book and comprehensive and Odell, infection control, everything I have given in the comprehensive ADC textbook. So there are 2 different books. If you email me, I can give you more details about it, and I will send you the sample copy where I have included 5, 10 questions from all the subjects, so that you can go through. That sample copy itself is like 100 pages for this book. You will understand the type of questions you are supposed to read and solve if you are preparing for the ADC exam. It's an expensive exam, guys, and you have limited time, and your time is also precious. So might as well have the right sources and the right guidance instead of wasting your time here and there studying through 10,000 different things. Study from right sources, study, revise, and clear your exam. As simple as that, correct? So yeah, just do leave a comment if you like this video, and happy studies. Bye bye.